Alright you guys, hello, assalamu alaikum. On my last video, you guys said that you did want more DIY and sewing tutorials, so ask and ye shall receive. But make sure you leave your comments down below, give the video a thumbs up, and share it so I know that you want more of these. But for this week's free tutorial, I received another DIY request, and it was for this cardigan. I also styled this cardigan with this really pretty amethyst necklace that I got from my Rocks box. And to tell you guys a little bit more about Rocksbox, it's basically a monthly jewelry subscription. It's $19 a month, and it's all based on your style. So you actually go onto the website, you'll select your sizes, the style that you like, whether that's gold or silver, simplistic or statement, and you're going to add those to your wish list, and then in each box you're going to receive 3 items. I really like that it's personalized. You get a little card with your name on it, telling you about the pieces that you've received that month, and it's unlimited. So if you didn't like the 3 items that you received, you can go ahead and swap those out, or if you just wanted to try 3 different items, you can send them back and swap those out as well. If you did want to purchase any of the items that you did get in that box, you can go ahead and get those at the discounted price. And every month that you're subscribed, you're going to earn $10 towards your jewelry purchases. If you guys like this box as much as I do, I have a discount code where you can try this free for 1 month, and it's Nadira037 XOXO. I have a link for you guys down below to go ahead and check that out. But when you're done with the jewelry and you're ready to send it back, you just put it in the same packaging that it came in and stick the pre-printed label on it. But jumping back into the tutorial for this week, you guys, we're going to start off with making the belt loops and the belt. For the belt loops, I cut out 2 rectangles that were 2 inches by 5 inches, and for the belt itself, I cut out a long rectangle that was 5 inches by 60 inches. Starting with the belt loops, you want to go ahead and fold them over and sew or serge down the length. Once you've done that, you're going to go ahead and sew or serge down the width. You want to do the same thing for the belt itself. Fold that over. I would go ahead and use some pins because it's a lot longer, and then sew or serge down the length and sew or serge down the width. This is what it'll look like once you've done that. To go ahead and turn these on the right side, I'm going to go ahead and use my fabric marker right here, and I'm just going to tuck that into the edge that I had serged and just kind of pull it over itself until it turns onto the right side. I did the same thing with the belt loops, except I used my serger tweezers because they were smaller and fit into the belt loops. So basically pull and pull, and make sure you get that pin out because you don't want to sew that into your belt. I'm going to go ahead and trim off the edges so that it's the same on both sides, and take each edge and just fold it in a little bit, make sure it's nice and even. Stick a pin into that, and then just go ahead and sew down the edge on both sides. You're going to set that aside, and we're going to move on. What I'm showing you here is the freezer paper that I use for my patterns, and I already have a piece cut out here. We're going to go through this super fast because I've showed you guys how to do this in my high-low peplum top tutorial, but this time I'm tracing a non-stretch shirt so that you have enough room to wear something underneath your cardigan. But basically all you want to trace is the neckline, the armhole, and the shoulder line. That's all we're going to need to make your pattern pieces. And then go ahead and get another long pattern piece and mark your desired length for your cardigan. Once I have those marked, I'm going to go ahead and draw a straight line going across. Take the pattern piece that we just worked on and line that up at the armhole. Go ahead and trace the armhole and the shoulder line. I'm going over that with a Sharpie so you guys can see what it should look like. Next, I just kind of free-handed a curve and then extended a straight line going across the total length of my pattern paper. Then measuring about 4.5 inches up from the bottom, I did a curve going all the way down to the total length. Cut that piece out and you are done making that pattern piece, and we're going to move on to the back pattern. I'm pinning that down on top of the front pattern piece to make sure it's nice and even, and I'm going to go ahead and trace the armhole and the shoulder line. Marking the bottom, drawing a straight line across, and then I'm marking a dash at about 14.5 inches. Now we need to go ahead and trace the neckline, so we'll take that same pattern piece we did at the beginning, line it up, and trace the neckline. Go ahead and take out that pattern piece. You don't need that any longer. And I'm just gonna go over this with a Sharpie so you guys can see what it should look like. Then draw a line from the neckline down to the bottom. This length should be the same as your original length measurement. And you want to just go ahead and trace down, make sure you have a nice straight line. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and draw a dash about 7 inches down to mark where the belt loops are going to be pinned at. Go ahead and cut that out, and this line is going to be the fold. So you want to place that on the fold of your fabric, but here's what your pattern piece should look like once you've cut that out. We're going to go ahead and make the sleeve pattern. Again, I'm going through this fast because I showed you guys how to do this. Click the card above or the link below for the full detailed description. Once I've done that, I also went ahead and extended out the length of the sleeve about 2.5 inches, so I have enough to make my cuff at the end. Cut that out, and there's going to be the fold for your sleeve. You'll cut out 2 pieces that should look like this. You'll fold them over and sew or serge down. All right, so you can go ahead and cut out your pattern pieces. You'll have 2 for the front and 1 along the fold for the back. You can go ahead and open that up and line up your belt loops right where you made those dashes. And then go ahead and get your front pieces and line those up nice and even. You can see it's already kind of taking the shape of what it'll look like, and you want to sew down the shoulders and the length on both sides. All right, so this is what it'll look like so far. If you wanted to stop here and just make it as a vest and not add the collar, you can go ahead and do that. But if you want to continue on as I did, keep watching. So here I've got the garment. You can see the armholes there, and I'm just going to take the top and get that to as much of a straight line as I can get and measure that total width. For me, that was about 33 inches. So I cut out a rectangle that was 33 inches by 12 inches. You'll set that piece aside, and you're going to start doing your hem from the top corner on one side to the top corner on the other. You want to fold it over once and fold it over again. This fold is going to be seen on the right side of your garment, so make sure that you fold that on the right side of your garment. I did a pin in it, or you can use Wonder Tape. Wonder Tape will just kind of help keep everything in place and you don't need the pin there. Put that in your sewing machine. And I start folding before I sew, and then I'll sew down. You just want to keep folding over and folding over. When I get to where the seams are or the curves, I pin that part first just because it'll be easier to get that through my sewing machine. And I pull just a little bit when I'm working through on the seam because it's thicker. But you'll go ahead and work your way all the way around. And now you're ready to go ahead and attach the collar. You want to line it up right in the center, and you want to do that with the cardigan wrong side facing up, pin it down, and go ahead or serge or sew down. All right, this is what it should look like once you've done that, and we're going to hem the collar. You want to fold that over, and this really isn't going to be seen. This part is folded underneath, and I'm showing you that above in that little video clip there. But you do the same thing, fold it over once, fold it over again, and work your way around all 3 edges of the collar. After you've done that, we can go ahead and add our sleeves. You want to fold your sleeves right side out and have your cardigan wrong sides out. Tuck the sleeve into the armhole and pin first at the bottom seam. Make sure it's nice and even, and then pin at the top. And then I'm going to work my way pinning all the way around. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and take that to your sewing machine and sew all the way around. All right, the last thing we're going to do is work on our cuff. I'm taking some Wonder Tape and I'm placing that around the edge of the sleeve. I'm just going to trim that off. And I'm going to fold it in. Then I'm going to go ahead and fold it out, making sure it's nice and even. You can go ahead and peel off your Wonder Tape. And then fold that edge over and start at the seam to make sure it's lined up nice and even, and just kind of stick the two pieces together there. Work your way all the way around, and this is what it should look like. And since I use the Wonder Tape, I don't need pins. I'm just going to take that right to my machine and start sewing down. When I get to the seam, because it's thicker, I'm just going to manually sew over that. Once you've done that, just continue sewing all the way around and backstitch. And this is what it should look like. We're almost done. You have one last step. Right along the seam on the other side, I'm just going to do a stitch to make sure it stays in place. Trim off any threads, and that is it. You're done. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, be sure to give the video a big thumbs up, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, because it would make my day. Check out some of my most recent videos and tutorials down below, and you can also click the card that's coming up as well. Connect with me below at Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff at Nadira037. But I love you guys all so much, and until my next video, assalamu alaikum. And be sure to do something else that I forgot what I was going to say. What was I going to say?